Cheers for tuning in to another episode of the Here's the Craic podcast.
If you haven't already, subscribe to our Spotify and Apple Music and leave a 5-star review.
And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe and like the video.
Can this thing see me? Will I go like that?
Yeah.
Can you see me? What's that, Jerry Adams? See me now? Oh, lads.
Oh, fuck.
You've fucking hustled me here. I get the mouth over it. That's the bitch move, to put it over the glass.
I take it whenever you come up, would you stay 2 nights and just have a 3-day sort of going out bender?
No.
3-day bender.
Not at all. Not at all. That's what everyone thinks, because you see a guy in a pub drinking pints and he's fucking, once he turns that camera off, he's gone off, and once the camera goes off, the pint stops.
Here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack. Welcome back, talking shit and drinking wine, like and subscribe. Here's the crack.
How's it going, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Here's the Craic podcast, episode 55. Just recorded 54. We are joined today by Daragh.
How are you, lads?
You may also know him online as the Guinness Guru.
Yeah, you definitely won't know who Daragh is anyway. That Guinness fella, that fucking idiot who drinks pints of Guinness for a living.
Do you get many people in Dublin, or if you're on the streets or whatever, being like, oh, there's that, is it Guinness Guru or is it Guinness Guy or?
50-50. It'd be like, I was in a pub the other day. I was going to just some event on Wednesday night in the Camden in Dublin, and we said, right, 5:30 in the evening of a Wednesday, Dublin obviously be quiet. We thought, went into a pub called Ryan's on Camden Street, just beside where we were going. It was full of students. I was going, no. Yeah. Like, and there's no way of saying, there's no way of saying it without sounding like pretentious fuck, but like, it's grand. Like, being in public is absolutely obviously fine. Like, the odd person might see it, go, how are you, Guinness fella? Yeah, how are you, Guinness Guru guy? Yeah. But if I'm in a pub and I'm like going up to the bar and I'm ordering a Guinness, like, they probably think maybe I'm recording a video or something, and it's like, that's kind of 5 minutes to stand at the bar. It's like, and people are drunk and all. And again, I didn't think you'd be getting this at 5:30 on a Wednesday in Dublin, but it's even kind of, it's gas, because you'll have lads come up and they go, Guinness Guru, oh Guinness, oh yeah, great crack. And then the girls, you could just see them scratching their heads, looking at each other going, who the fuck's this fella? Why are they all going on about this chap drinking pints of Guinness? Or even there was these 2 young lads came up and they were like, can we get a picture? I said, yeah, no problem. Stood there, and the girl taking the picture, she was fairly well on, like, and she was just going, she wouldn't take the picture. She just kept going, who are you? And I was like, what am I going to roar across? Like, I'm the Guinness Guru. I was just like, the lads will explain, like, take the fucking picture. Like, and I was like,
just take the fucking picture.
And she was pissed. Like, and who are you again? I was going, here, the lads will explain. Just take the fucking thing. Yeah, just generally like, Guinness. But listen, that's what I signed up to. So. And
now, like, do you get on with it? Like, was it weird at the start, or is now it's just like?
Well, I wouldn't say it was weird at the start, because it was so slow to grow. Like, people, it's such a cliche, like, and it's not as if I'm fucking famous or anything, but people see it going decently well now, and they're like, oh yeah, but I started this in August 2019, and like, when I say I was getting no traction at the start, I was actually posting, my YouTube videos were getting, let's say a solid YouTube video now gets probably 10,000 views in the first 24 hours, which is, for me, unbelievable, like, for YouTube, because it's a hard one to crack.
Yeah, that's insane.
2 years ago, if I got 100 views in the first week, I'd be like, oh fuck, I got over 100 views. Like, this is brilliant. So it was the weirdest part was coming out of the kind of big lockdowns, because my TikTok went from 0 to 100,000 in a month, and then all of a sudden, we all know TikTok, it's pretty much just all like 80% of the people watching on TikTok are literally like between the ages of fucking 9 years old to say 19. And I was just used to a few kind of lads my age, like I'm 28, I was used to a few lads like late 20s, 30s going, how are you, Guinness Guru, what's the crack? Very casual, stopping and chatting on the street, to all of a sudden going down the village and all these kids just being like, Guinness Guru, sláinte you lads, yeah. And nothing ever bad, but you're just like, what the fuck, this is weird. So that was the only moment, but yeah, now it's, the TikTok has kind of calmed down a bit now, because people just are obsessed with you when you're new, And now when they keep seeing you, it's like, yeah, that's that fella. Like, we've seen him a few times. So that was I have no problem going to the pub now and lads coming up, Guinness fella. But the weirdest thing was, especially with kids, you don't know what the fuck they're not looking for a conversation. They're just looking to scream at you. And snort you, lads. Yeah. And you're just like, yeah, grand. Whereas if someone approached you in the street, you'll have a conversation with them for 5 minutes, whatever. But young lads just roar at you, and you're just like, sound, thanks a million. So awkward, just keep walking. So no, it's grand now. Like, and one thing more in terms of getting attention, like, your lad's eyes lit up when I walked in the room. I'm a fucking giant. I'm 6'7", and I've been 6'7" since I was 16 years old. So I'm used to being in public places and people staring at me. So the attention, I don't really mind the attention. Now it's more just like,
it took me by surprise, because when you messaged me and you're like, I'm at the door here, I just remember opening the door looking like directly in my eye contact and just looking at your chest, and I was like, alright mate, what's the crack?
Or I was at the bottom of the steps, but we were still in line with the eyes.
Yeah, we stand at the other side of the street. But like, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, as soon as I walked in, like, because you usually all take the piss, like, you're like, oh, height and all this here, because I'm 6'1", 6'2", so like they would be like, you're tall enough. So that is tall though. I do think I'm tall.
Yeah, you are tall.
But then whenever I answered the door to someone like you, like, I worked with a fellow who was 6'7". That's as soon as you walked in, I was like, like, you're the same height as Ben. So I worked with a guy, and like, it was really weird, because like, you went to uni and people would be like, you're quite tall, and I bet you think I'm tall. You see the giant I work with, like you're pure ducking as soon as you walk in through that door there.
But like, I know I'm a freak. Like, it's not as if I think yous are all tiny.
But you said you were a painter and decorator. Handy enough, no ladders needed then.
There you go. This fucking
up on the roof.
Badum chish. I heard that in every single fucking house I went to for 5 years, and he's saying it now. Jesus, get an original joke.
I quit painting and decorating to not hear that joke, and then I just said it.
I thought those days were over. Oh, literally every fucking gaff, like, lad, you wouldn't need a ladder with that fella. And then the two boys I'm working for are breaking their bollocks because they know I hear it every day. So. But painting and decorating for shout out GK Paint and Deck. Gave it up about 2 months, working for Gab, my good pal in Ashburn. But yeah, I was away. I'm 28 now. I already said that. I was away in New Zealand and kind of getting cultured in Asia, as you do. Around 22, 23. Came home at 24. I was like, right, let's fucking figure this shit out. What I always just thought, like, I do think I'm going to do something a bit different or a bit mad. What is that? So I did a personal trainer course, worked in a gym. It was like, a year later, I was like, no, this is shite. Nothing against personal trainers, just wasn't for me.
And did you have something whenever you were that age that you thought, oh, this is what I'm going to be? Like,
I remember being in New Zealand and writing down like four things on a piece of paper, and I said, I'll try all of these one by one, and if none of them work, I'll just get a shitty normal job like anyone else. And they were personal training, kind of like trying to own a gym or whatever, running events, videography, and then I just wrote down YouTube, because I'm just obsessed with, I've been watching YouTube as long as I can remember. I'm just obsessed with the fact that people can make a living from just uploading fucking video onto YouTube and people watching it, and that's your living. I just thought that was unreal, because I just love making videos. So I did a personal training, like I said, and this is all while I was painting away, like, so working in the evenings and stuff on weekends. Then I was trying to run events. I did a couple of charity events, they went well. Then I did an event for myself that wasn't for charity, and it wasn't a flop, but say the charity events probably got 300-400 people. The event I did for myself probably got like 80 or 90, so it wasn't as good. I lost about fucking $2,000 on that. And then I was like, those events are too fucking stressful. That's enough of that. And then I started just doing a bit of videography. Like, I'd had a bit of an interest in cameras and editing and stuff, and I was filming stuff for people just for free, like, and I just thought, this isn't it either. Like, I'm not saying I can't wait to go to this random event and film this guy and then edit this guy. I just wanted it, I don't know if it's narcissistic, but I just wanted it to be my own thing. So I just wanted to see my own face on the screen, but I just was like, I want to just make my own videos. And
you edit your own?
I do,
videos,
But now my editing is literally film, say, an hour of footage, throw it in to the final cut, take out all the random shit, cut it to half an hour, and that's it. Like, there's no There's no fancy stuff, and I don't really intend on making it fancy because I think that's why people enjoy the videos. It's just very simple and straightforward. Yeah.
And do you enjoy editing your own, or?
I do enjoy editing. Yeah, like I wouldn't be in a rush to get someone to edit them because again, like luckily a video, like some YouTubers probably take days to edit their videos because they don't hit this real jump. Hey, we're here, and they just sort of go. It's real kind of American, like kind of trying to keep people engaged, and then they'll have all these funny edits and all. I'll throw in a funny odd picture if I think it's suitable. Just download it from Google, like, and put it on the screen. But my videos literally take 2 hours to edit. Like I just sit there, I watch it all, cut out the shit, pretty much watch it all again. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, that's it, perfect. Yeah,
but it probably makes what you're doing a lot more enjoyable. Where if you're sitting for days, hours editing, you'll probably be like, no, I can't be hours recording a video because I don't want to edit.
Funny enough, you say that. That really reminds me. It gives me nearly PTSD of I had a channel, just my own name was Daragh, and I was doing a type of James Corden rip-off carpool karaoke thing. Yeah, and I got the odd person from Dublin to do it with me, like, and singing and on, and I was learning their lyrics, I was driving, I was filming it all at the same time. Fucking take about 3 hours to film, take me literally about 3 days to edit it because I was putting all these jump cuts and all this stuff, and it would literally get like 100 views. And now it really just shows me that it's not about if the content itself isn't good, you can't edit shite. Do you know what I mean? You can edit if something's really good, you can make it better with edits, but you can't make it you can't edit shit. Here, we drinking these. These are going to go warm.
We've brought Guinness cans along, much to your
disappointment.
You like cans?
I didn't say anything. You were putting words in my mouth.
The camera started rolling here, and he was shouting at us.
Well, like, we're talking. You said we're going to turn the camera on and drink the Guinness, and they're, no offense, but they're not exactly freezing as it is. So we better get them into us. And then I was saying off camera, like, if cans are fucking cans. Like, I made a video last year at the start of lockdown, because again, I knew it would do well on YouTube, and that's how I was drinking cans at that stage. But I just went through about 2 months of literally trying a new method every day, because I was just like, I'm putting a video out every day on YouTube. I don't care if it's shit or good or whatever. So I was just getting any sort of method. So the old method was glass in the freezer, so that's a fail. Glass in the freezer for 15 minutes, but I wouldn't expect you to have it in the freezer.
We should have asked you before we asked you.
No, I was going to say it, and I thought, no, it'd be funnier if I can just say that's a fail, because that'd be a lol. Glass in the freezer, even 10 minutes, you don't want to smash the fucking thing. And then can standing up in the fridge. But now Guinness recommend on the website, they say 3 hours, but I find if you buy warm cans in the shop and put them in for 3 hours, they're not warm enough. So I would say like 24 hours. But a big thing which I still would say is, I think if you take them out of the fridge and they're on their side, I think they always kind of spill over. So just have them in that part where you put the milk.
Nice.
Have them there, have the next one ready there. And then again, I used to do the whole bollocks of the 45-degree angle and then let it sit there and top it back up, but sure, it's not a tap.
Yeah.
So that's the old method. If you're really bored, like especially over Christmas, and you're kind of at home with the normal cans and you're thinking, oh, what can I do to kind of spice it up, spice up my Guinness cans, you can go and watch that video. But now, literally, I would just...
So we're going to pour cans of Guinness. I do apologise for anybody listening, because the banging off this will be horrible, but I knew this anyway. We knew this
anyway.
A bit of ASMR there, Oh, stop. But what way? No, hang on here. I want to watch. How do you just open it normally?
Yeah. Can this thing see me? Will I go like that?
Yeah.
Can you see me? What's that? Jerry Adams. See me now? Oh, lads. Oh, fuck. You've fucking hustled me here. I get the mouth over it. That's the bitch move, to put it over the glass.
This is going on.
Oh, that is so bad.
So we're not doing great so far.
That's live TV. No, but this happened to me a million times. These cans, you don't know. They're so unpredictable.
Yeah.
Look at me sucking this out.
Ross shot yours before.
Not ideal.
God, yeah, that's not how it's done anyway.
We'll roll with it.
Oh my God, still cold.
Right.
I'm just gonna have to dunk it in.
What's next? Just fire it in, like.
Lads, we're fucked. Dunk it in.
There's no going back.
There's no going back. Try save it somehow.
The whole thing, or do you leave
the whole thing? 45 degrees, and then towards the top, just let it keep going.
Right. Dump it.
Not that much of a dump.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you fucked it now.
You're taking an absolute dump. So he's got contender for a worst pint of the year. Not your own fault. The glass.
Yeah, it's horrible.
What can you do with
Find that at the
glass?
back. Like.
even if that was full, that would still look terrible. Looks like something from the 40s or something.
Mine didn't do the thing. Like,
What thing?
you see the way yours is brown at the top?
The kind of surgeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, like settling. Yeah, yours just.
It just went.
Again, these. I'm honestly, lads, these cans are
just mine.
very unreliable. I've had ones where I pour them in, and there's literally
The fucking head on
there's
that.
no head. It'd be the opposite. I hope the camera can see that.
My word.
But again, I don't really think none of us did that in any different.
Yeah.
Clean, so thank you very much. Mine probably just by chance.
Just
I
by
would say
chance.
looks the best, only because it fills up the glass.
Yeah.
But
Mine
Ross's
the
looks
best because
decent.
I'm the Guinness Guru. He whispered to the can before he, come on.
Yeah,
Let me down.
yeah. Don't let me know, and then it explodes.
What
definitely give me a bogey can.
What about them? What do you call them? The vibrating things?
The surgers.
Surgers.
What are they?
Dildos.
Dillers, yeah.
Are they good? Like, or do they make much of a difference?
Do you mean like the jewellery machine?
Yeah.
Or like the newer thing?
Well, whatever. Like,
What's the
are they not the
difference?
same
The
thing?
jewellery machine, there was this big discovery last year. Here we have a sip. Slant it,
cheers.
lads. Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Right, take a swig of that. Yeah, some more. Go.
Oh, that's warm.
What was it you say?
It's not that.
Not
Sláinte.
great, like.
Sláinte, lads.
What do you think of this thing where you split the G? I can't do it, obviously, but it's the E, isn't it?
G.
It's the G.
It's the G in my world, anyway. I never
Yeah,
heard of
up
it
north
up
it's
until
the E.
about 2 years ago.
That was warm enough.
Yeah.
It's good, lovely, warm can of Guinness. That won't make the Guinness Christmas ad anyway. Split the G. Yeah, I when I started doing, I'm not, by the way, claiming I invented it. I'm just saying, when I started doing Guinness Guru, one of my good mates who always gets a shout out, Sean Kent, he was like, "Do you ever hear of Split the G?" And I said no, and he just said, "Yeah, you drink it and you try if the camera can get it." So I have that. The black line is just above the G there. You try to get the black line right on the G, or like you said, split the E. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Or some people say the harp, just under the harp, but I don't think split the harp really sounds great. Split the G sounds best because G for Guinness.
Yeah.
But that's just something you can do with your pals.
Try at home, kids.
Try it at home, yeah. But the thing about, I wouldn't rarely do it when I'm doing a review, because usually, like when you split the G, sometimes it's very far down in the glass. You'd have like half the thing gone.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to review it, so you're not just going to neck it. But I've gotten videos of lads, and I literally like get like 5 videos in a row at 2 a.m. of a lad just like, I split, his mate's just filming him and he's just like 5 times splitting the G. You're like, fair fucks to you, mate. What do you want me to do with this video?
If you're ordering a Guinness at a pub, and so say you went along to a pub to do one of the reviews, and someone landed a Guinness down in front of you, what's the first thing that you're looking for? Like, are you looking for, because you talk a lot about this, what is it, you put something up yesterday on your story, the domage or something?
Domage, that's a relatively new one, yeah. So probably the first thing would be, is the glass clean? Because you'll see, like, I can
Mine's fucking brown.
Ross,
Why is that like-
Ross brought this glass.
Well, that's
Someone's
going
farted it.
that's going yellow already. But you look at the glass, I wouldn't even mind about cans, because like certain pubs, cans you're drinking at home, so it's totally different, but certain pubs will literally use a Guinness only dishwasher, yeah. So all the Guinness glass, and they won't mix in with all the, not to get fucking boring now, but it doesn't mix in with all the fat from all the food and all that shit. And you can tell, like, if it's there might be a bit of grease kind of lining around the glass, and you'll see it so obviously. It'll just look like it's wet on the inside. You see that so obviously. So just first thing you're looking for is a pint that just looks clean from top to bottom. Then the domage, you want the top of the cream to come, because the top of it's very thick, so the top of the cream can come up over like this, and you want it just up high enough, obviously, that it doesn't spill. So like master barmen or bar women can do that, where they can pour it with kind of balls of steel, and they know it'll go up. And do you ever, you notice when you carry a pint of Guinness, it's a lot easier to carry say 2 pints of Guinness to a table than 2 full pints of lager, because the lager kind of is a bit more like loose and might spill. Guinness will just fucking, you'd be doing this like, and it'll just sit there because it's thick as fuck on the top, so the damage. And then once you drink it and it goes down, the old shtick that'll stick to the side of the glass, but you're not gonna really probably get on this. But the shtick thing is just a bit of a, not a gimmick like, but it doesn't really mean a great pint, because I've gotten shocking pints. Like I was over in Portugal, got some absolute stinkers, tasted like arse, and they weren't even poured up to there, and then like the fucking stick was all the way down the side, and I was a bit like, right, I'm a fraud. but and then I generally would, I sound like an old man, but I would like the old style glass, so this would be a new style glass, but again, we're only drinking cans, so it's all good.
Would that be an old style glass?
No, that's see all the indentation and all.
Yeah.
That's all that was brought in. Now I say new, is fucking since 2012. But the other glass is the glass since like the 70s or something like that. So it's just straight down tulip glass. None of this bollocks. Yeah. You go into any pub like our lads would, and you give an old lad a glass like that, they'd say, take that fucking back, give me an old glass.
Would they?
Yeah. Proper old lads now. Most wouldn't care. But people always say, what's the difference? I just say, look, that's just my preference. So that's pretty much what you're looking for.
Yeah. We were talking about that Surger thing. Like, what is the crack?
Oh, yeah, sorry. So then, just amongst the absolute boredom during the pandemic, everyone was just trying to figure out a way to make the can at home better. And so across the UK, they have these, I don't know if they still have them, but these little tiny Surger machines. You can't buy them anywhere. It's just a little thing the can would sit on, and it would you'd pour the can into the glass, put the glass on that, it would use this ultrasonic waves or some bullshit, and it makes it creamy and surges up to the top. The same kind of concept as when the Guinness, there's the burps now, when the Guinness settles. That was actually the problem. Side note, when I used to do my podcast, I'd be drinking cans during it. One can is fine, but anyway, all over the UK, because they weren't arse getting the whole keg system in and all that. So that was the thing. This is literally 10 years ago, and I'd never heard of it, and it wasn't a common thing here. And then a couple of lads started finding these Surger cans. I think you can still get them up north. There's a off license just on the border there in Jonesborough, and you can get them there. But I have a feeling they're fucking years old. I don't think they even produce them anymore, but they're made by Guinness. But anyway, because you can't get the Surger machine, some mad bastard figured out that if you get a jewellery cleaner, which I didn't even know jewellery cleaner was a thing, you sit the jewellery cleaner down, it gives this same effect, these ultrasonic waves. You do the same thing, you pour. So when you pour it out of the Surger can, it's flat as fuck, like there's no head in it or anything. So you'd never drink that by itself. You put it into this jewellery machine with a bit of water in the machine. You go for like 3 seconds. You take it out, and it shoots up to the top, and it settles and all, and it'd be perfect. But they taste a bit manky. And then the newest thing is this Nitro Surge, which is pretty much the same. It's all bollocks. Like, it's just Guinness trying to get people, because they know people will be drinking a lot at home at Christmas. So it's this little device. You stick it on top, you press a button, and it pours it in. It doesn't have a widget like these do. If you can hear that widget like offsets all the surge and all. But I talk like that. My Guinness knowledge and terminology is probably embarrassingly like bad. I'm just fucking, get me in the pub, give me the pint, I'll say if I like it or not, and throw up a video. Do you know what I mean? I don't really spend time going into like, oh well, this amount of milliliters of this and the nitrogen and the hydrogen and all that bollocks. Like, there's other pages on Instagram that are fucking like, shout out all things Guinness as a page. He literally is just the total opposite to me. It's just information. Whereas if you're looking for Guinness information, don't come to me. If you're looking for some lad drinking pints, come to me.
And what made you start the Guinness Guru? Like you were saying, like you wanted to get into YouTube. Like why the Guinness Guru?
So I always have to give a shout out to my good pal Cozy, a mate of mine from Ashburn. He saw this. Any of you ever heard of Barstool Sports?
Yes.
Dave Portnoy, head of Barstool Sports, my idol. And he goes, I'd never heard of Barstool, and he goes, there's this chap. One of my mates is after sending me a video of this chap. He goes around New York eating pizza. And I was like, what the fuck? What's he on about? That looks shy. And he goes, I think it could be cool to do this with Guinness. And I said, all right. It was just like sure, we'll do it for the crack. We'll chance it. Went to do a test run in one of the local pubs, never to be posted. Like, it was terrible. But we were like, right, well, if we post enough of these, like maybe you might get a bit of traction. And there was other pages on Instagram, but they were all, and this is, I'm like a parrot, but anytime I'm asked about it, I always say I think I will come out on top in terms of Guinness content because I have a face. Literally the only page, all the other pages are just go to a pub. Like these pages are popping up left, right and centre, and nothing against them, but they go to a pub and they just do the same thing. They take a picture, they rate the pint, they talk a bit, they write a bit of text about it, and they give it a score, and that's it. But it's anonymous. Whereas mine, I always just thought like it's more engaging, a hopefully relatable enough fella just going around pubs, like. And I always knew there was gonna be a bit of the problem with having a face is if I say a pint isn't great, I have to deal with the fucking owner or whatever. And if I go around just saying every pint is great, no one's going to give a shit about my page because he's just sucking up to everyone else. I don't give a bollock. So it was started, that was August 2019, and I don't know if I said this on or off camera, I think on, but the views and all were just like embarrassingly low. And then kind of last year Cozy was just I was just doing everything because it was during the pandemic, so he was just the cameraman, like, and I was the face of it, and I was doing videos at home, and he was like, he wasn't really available, so he just said, right, I'm going to step back and I'm going to leave it to you, like, you're doing great. And I still talk to him, there's never any bad blood or anything, like, but yeah, that's how it started. And 2 years later, it's definitely gone better than, I've always been patient with stuff. I kind of had a bit of a trajectory in my head, but it's fucking surpassed that by miles, thankfully.
Yeah.
Fair play.
And
thank you.
So so you've been, how many, do you know in your head how many pubs you've been to?
I actually have a list that I hadn't updated in a long time. He's licking it off the table. Did you lick it off the table or out of the pint?
My finger in it.
That'll make it cleaner. Finger it.
Can't get much down here. Like,
just said, watch
dip your Mickey in it. That'll make it cleaner. No one's in a rush to finish. He fucking Ross is down his.
What do you know?
Right, the three of us will down this now and get it over with. Get the fucking pain of the warm can.
Before mine gets any more yellow.
Yeah, you'll have the hardest job now. Stuck in lead.
Who finishes first? Well, obviously. Well,
I had fuck all left, to be fair. Right, well done, lads.
Good job.
That's the worst part over. What was the question? How many pubs? I reckon there's about, I reviewed, so there's probably about 10 videos that I did that I never posted because maybe they were too close to home or they were just awful. They were shite, so I didn't bother. Including all them, you're probably at about the 140 mark, 140 pubs. So it's pretty solid. And then I've probably fucking drank Guinness in maybe another 50 pubs in my life. So probably tipping up around that 200 mark. So like I put my hand up, like, because I have the word guru in the name. It obviously means I think I know everything. I have no problem saying I'm just like the next lad. When I started it, I was no expert. I was just drinking like Guinness and I was drinking it. And then, but I like to think I've fucking had a pint in, say, over 150 pubs, like, probably have picked up one or two things. And they're still probably not an expert like the guru would suggest. But yeah, whenever anyone says that, I just say, well, you hit the 150 pubs and we'll see what you were saying.
You said there that you about places close to home. Is that something you don't really do?
No,
review places.
Don't shit on your own doorstep. I even did, like, there's a town called Ratoath, which is like 5 minutes from Ashburn. Ashburn is my hometown. Shout out Ashburn. And you're right there, Ross. Should I not be saying this? No, Ross is behind the camera, just making sure everything's all right. All good. Good soup. They only record for half an hour. I know the pain. I know the pain. Trying to keep a conversation going, you're just like, is that fucking camera on? But anyway, so like I remember doing 2 in Ratoath, and the thing was, like, I probably didn't give great scores, so I was like, nah, there's no point. And then everyone's always like, when are you going to do Ashburn? I was like, if I was going to do Ashburn, I'd have fucking done it by now. It's on my doorstep. But I wouldn't really, like, I'm not a regular in any of these pubs in Dublin or anything, so it's grand to do them. And the ones I am a regular in now, it's just regular, like, filming. I'm drinking so much fucking pints filming this. This is why it's such a weird kind of quote unquote job. I drink so many pints doing it for my job that I'm not going out every weekend, like, with the lads and having 20 pints on a Saturday, like, because I've probably had 5 pints during the week and I'm like, right, that'll do me. But yeah, so any of the pubs I would regularly go to in Dublin are pubs I've given rave reviews to, so I've no problem going back to them. I wouldn't be straight back to, like, there's a pub, it's funny, there's a pub close to Ashburn, I won't name it, but it was the first ever place I reviewed, and I actually think I took it down from the YouTube a while ago, but I was probably trying to come in like fucking, probably had too much Dave Portnoy in my head, trying to come in hard and harsh, and I was like, I think I gave it a 5.5, and I didn't even, I only told them like I'm just going to film something outside, and they didn't know what the fuck I was at, and then I just heard like it was going through WhatsApp groups in that town, like, who's this cunt thinking it's fucking Ashburn wanker and all that. So I was like, right, that's lesson learned, don't shit in your own doorstep.
Where is the worst place you've received a pint?
Here today.
Yeah, genuinely.
It's up there anyway.
Here's the Craic podcast.
Don't go for a pint, lads.
0.1 out of 10. I was in Portugal about 2 months ago and got some stinkers. I like one of them. I went to 3 places, and like the whole two-part pour, like that's, everyone knows that you pour the Guinness gets poured up to here and it gets poured again, and some people say it's bullshit, and maybe it is, but if you're going to do it in one, at least make it like up to the top and perfect. The reason for the two-part pour, in my opinion, is to get that domage, as we were talking about. I think if you do it in one, it'll come to here and then it'll just kind of flatten back down, whereas if you put it up to there, you let it settle and then you give it another go, it'll just sit up there nice and creamy. So 2 of the pubs, so you kind of accept when you go into a pub that, especially, it's a nightmare trying to get Guinness in a busy pub, because you're like 4 pints of Guinness and they're fucking, you're waiting ages, like, and I've had times where I just said fucking pour the one, I don't give a bollocks, I just don't want to drink anything else. So 2 of these pubs, I went up to order the pint, and by the time I was back in my seat, the pint was pretty much in front of me, and you just know, like, right, well, this was literally probably just let down like that. There you go, in you go, and it was brought to me literally, because most, even like in the UK, I'm pretty sure like their pints, like it's only up to about here, and they're like, that's fine. Whereas in Ireland, it's literally, if your pint isn't to the brim, you're gonna go, what the fuck? Where's the rest of your pint? You're robbing me here, yeah. So like they were literally up to about here, and then it just tastes like absolute arse. Like in Ireland, I know I think the Guinness quality team go around every like 4 weeks and they clean out every pub's pipes and all this stuff, but I can't imagine that happens over there. You can just tell, like, just taste of rust and metal and fucking rat shit probably fucking in the pipes. So yeah, Portugal, I won't fucking single out one pub, but you can go back to the video and watch it. Type in Guinness Guru Portugal, you'll see some stinkers.
And how much, like, we went down to Dublin for our parties. That was 3 years ago. Yeah,
probably not.
And one thing we noticed was the price of pints. Obviously up here probably a bit cheaper, but the further you got into town, the dearer they got. Like, how much do you think's too dear for a pint now? Well,
it's funny you say that. I only did a video the other day, most expensive versus cheapest pint in Dublin, and they're actually only a 5-minute walk apart. I mean, Dublin city centre, I could have gone to some fucking gas club probably in God knows where in Dublin, but the Temple Bar pub, which everyone knows, €6.90, which I'm not sure what that is in pounds, but it's a lot. And then the Snug Bar, which is €4.50, so €2.40 cheaper, literally 5 minutes around the corner.
We went to Temple Bar on Paddy's Day. Oh no, it was next door. What do you call the one next door?
It was one of the pubs around there. Like.
I don't know.
But they're all the same. Like, it's not. It's.
But
it's the same price. Like, but I also think it's because like their rent is like extortionately high. They have to charge a bit more. But anyway, like, I don't know. I don't give Temple Bar as much shit as most people do. Most people, you say to them, "Oh, fuck that kip. That's a fucking shithole." It's not a shithole. It's actually a nice pub. And like people, I wouldn't vouch for it now. But like every time, it's the only place that, say you're bringing someone over from fucking America. And like they obviously love it. But you could go there literally on a Tuesday at 11 a.m. and say you've only got 2 hours in Dublin city centre. The one pub you know is going to be not hopping but busy with a bit of music on is the Temple Bar. And if you're only going for 2 hours, you have 2 pints, you're paying £7 a pint. Like, people say, oh, that's not the real Dublin experience, but like, it's like I said, it's like going to New York City and the New York locals will probably say Empire State Building's a kip. Why is it just a tourist trap? It's like, you're still going to go.
Yeah.
Because if you go and to New York and come home and someone says you go to Empire State Building, you say no, they'll, what the fuck, why didn't you go there? Like it's a tourist attraction for a reason. So what's too much for a pint? I don't know, it's a good question. Like if I would generally know that if I was going to a pub, I generally know what the price is going to be. But let's say, I don't know, I go, like you hear some crazy stories, places like Singapore and stuff. If I went somewhere abroad and it was over, if it was under a tenner, I'd have one, because I think it's a bit embarrassing to hear the price and then walk out and not have one. But I just have one and pretend. But it was over tenner, I don't know. But then, like, it could be over a tenner everywhere in the city. Like, even I remember hearing stuff like Copenhagen is like the most expensive city in Europe or something. It was like 11-12 euro a pint. Like, it's they're like, you're their little bitch. Do you know what I mean? They're putting down the prices. If you don't want a drink, and you can go to the shop and get a few cans.
I seen there not too long ago. You went to the Black Fords in Dublin, McGregor's.
That was a popular one,
I think that was the one that popped up actually popped up for me. Was you there and you tried his? Yeah, you tried his one.
Yeah, so McGregor made, well, you say McGregor made, I'd say he had fuck all to do with it, but he put his name on this new Black Forge stout. Again, like, that was just, so generally, like I was saying to you before, like, my videos, usually it's 2 to 3, let's say 2 videos a month of me going to a new town or whatever, but like, there's a bit to that. You have to travel up and go and probably stay the night and all that, so doing that every week is a bit much. So maybe 2 of them a month, and then like trying to think what else would be good. And I don't sit there thinking, like, if I've no other ideas, I'll just pick a town and go. But something like the Conor McGregor video, like, that was all I have to do is go, and I drank 2 pints, and it's like a 30-minute drive away. And I come home. Whereas compare that to driving or coming up to Belfast and staying the night, and fucking it's 2 days, and I just, like, you got to be realistic with it. Not like clickbaity, but like, I know if I go to Conor McGregor's pub, which is a new pub, it's very relevant. It's Conor McGregor. Everyone, whether you love him or hate him, people want to see something that he's involved in. And like, so I just went and I tried I tried the Guinness, which was alright, and then the big thing was to try this Black Forge stout, because I had been tagged in a lot of pictures that they were putting out, and obviously they're going to have a good marketing team. He's paying God knows how much, like, and I went, and the place, to be fair, people say it used to be a bit of a kip, like, I would have no idea. Real nice. It's like fancy without being pretentious, because the area it's in wouldn't be like D4. It's in not a rough area, but it's in like proper Dublin, like Crumlin, Drimna. Was
it the pub that a lot of people say he was?
I didn't know that when I went, but apparently I couldn't say if it is or isn't, but apparently, I don't know, people are saying that as a joke, but yeah, it's like he punched your man and then he bought it, like, so that'd be pretty funny if it is if it is that pub. But I didn't know that going in, to be honest. I thought there's no chance of that. But yeah, and then here was the kicker. Like, I like to think, like, when you see, now I'm doing it full time, luckily. You kind of look at it money wise a little bit different. You're like, oh well, I have to pay the bills. Do you know what I mean? But I've always, and I've like not had arguments with my girlfriend and stuff, but she'd be like, and the lads would be like, even say, I was saying to you before, like, a pub might say, we'll throw you a few £100 and come and review it, but it can be an honest review. Like, I'll never do that. I just think that's, you're muddying the waters. The lines are getting blurred, and then lads are going to start, is he getting paid for this? Is he not? I keep it very, like, all I'm getting paid for is the sponsor of the video, and if the video does well, I'll get a few bob off the ads from it. That's it. There's no like, oh, I'm here in this place, and if I'm somewhere, I'll say say I go somewhere, this is a local sponsor or something. Do you know what I mean? But I won't just be like, oh, I stumbled upon this pizza shop. This is great pizza. Do you know what I mean? Like, I try to keep it real, because there's just so many people online, and it's just, they're just flogging shite they don't even like just for free. So the point being, long-winded answer, whoever was on the Black Forge in Instagram was like, to me, I just said, is it cool? Most pubs I would just rock up and say, can I film myself doing a review? They say grand. But with these, I just thought they might be a bit weird with cameras and stuff, so I just said, right, do you mind if I come to your pub and review the Guinness and review here we go again, the Black Forge stout? And he said, yeah, no problem. And if you really like it, send us the video and we'll send it to Conor, or we'll get Conor to share it. Yeah. So I'm thinking, right, Conor McGregor, like 50 million followers. What's the play here? What's the play here? Do I just go?
New favourite drink?
Yeah. Do I go and say this is amazing and double my following, or do I just keep it real? And the lads who are following me will be like, the lads who are the lads who are following me will be like, fair fucks, like. Yeah. So I went and I said it's all right, it's decent. It wouldn't be my cup of tea, but it's decent, maybe like a 7 out of 10. And I actually compared, there's a new thing coming out called Island's Edge, like another stout, and I kind of compared it to that, and I said a bit better than that, but I just said it's grand. And then knowing full well that I wasn't going to get a share from McGregor or whatever, but then I actually heard there was like good rumours going around, not even rumours because I said it in the video, but like people were basically, the kind of thing was being said was fair fucks to that Guinness fella. He was apparently offered. Now the rumour was I was offered money to go, which there was never any money. It was just offered to be shared by McGregor, and they were like, apparently he was offered money and he just went and said it was okay, like, so that's fair enough, or that's fair play, like. But obviously any rumour could spread. But yeah, I just think like I'm such a long game person. Yeah, like say my Instagram now is for me is doing great. It's like 30,000 followers, which I'm absolutely delighted with, and there's chances come along where you think, fucking like get cheeky 10,000 followers off of something here. But I just think like, who are those 10,000 followers going to be? The 30,000 people following me are like 95% just lads and the odd girl. It's about 10 girls, but who just like pints and like me and follow me for my videos. Whereas like you see pages on 100,000 and once they get there they just start saying, well, I just start flogging random shit now. I'm just such a long game, like just kind of turtle and what is it, tortoise in the hair, whatever the fuck that one is.
Have you had any like sort of nightmares where like you've went and give a bad review and the pub's reached out to you, anyone, or like that? Or
no, luckily, like I was saying, that first time with the place that was local to Ashburn, no one reached out, but I just heard like, fucking prick isn't never welcome back here and all that, which I wouldn't really be going back, so it's great. But no, like I try my very best to not slate a place. Like if I say the pint isn't good, I might say bar staff are lovely, it's a nice place in it, even if it's not, like, but I'll soften the blow. Like I'm not a fucking savage, and I have to realise like I'm not trying to get whacked, as they say in America. Like it would, if I was going around saying pint is fucking shite, staff are rude as fuck. So you can say that, these other pages say that, they've got the anonymous, you're sitting behind a phone and that's grand, but it's very harsh, like, to say, if you don't have the balls to say it with your face there, to go fucking kip and staff are rude and all, like, so no, luckily now that you say that, it's very surprising that I've never gotten a message saying, oh, you came to me pub and you ruined my life and like that, and I'm gonna fucking kill you.
It'd be interesting to know though if like you did go to a pub and say you tried their Guinness and you said, oh, like, you know, dirty glass or whatever, give an honest review, not a harsh review, but like an honest review. You can't sit there, like, it's like you said, you can't go to every pub and be like, and delightful. Yeah,
and the thing is, like, I'll say that stuff and you can even, if a pint is bad, you can even see it in the video. Like there's no selling a fucking, you couldn't sell that as a 10 out of 10. But you know what I mean. So you could have the dirty glass, or you could have like the head could be real thin or real thick or something. So I'm gonna have to be like, look lads, it's an okay pint, maybe it's a 6.8 out of 10 or something, but it's a nice spot here, do you know what I mean? You soften the blow. And if the person, and a lot of times they say like, how was the pint? Sometimes I'll just be like, oh, you'll have to watch the video. But a lot of times I'll just say, look, like there was one place, the Palace Bar in Dublin, and I went there 2 years ago, reviewed it, really good pint, I think it's like 8.6 out of 10 or something. And I went back there, which I probably shouldn't have done, but I was doing like that was just a single review, but I was doing like a best pint in Dublin. And I had this on my list of best pints, but then it kind of turned out, nowhere is guaranteed to be good. So I went in and I got a bad one, and I gave it like a 7.2, and I was walking out and I said, I'll be honest with you lads, like, and this is where I've kind of grown, like, to be able to say what's on my mind. And I think people appreciate it. I said, I'll be honest with you lads, it wasn't great. I don't know, it was poured badly, and then like the funny thing is, it was like the manager and the owner talking to me, and the poor young fella who poured it was just standing over there, and I was just kind of like, he probably got a bit of a bollocking maybe after it, but I was like, I was here 2 years ago. unbelievable pint, and I've been here before and it was really good, but today it just wasn't good. And I can't say, like, pubs have bad days, I can't say it's good if it's not good. So, and they were just like, they're probably thinking, fucking prick, but they're like, yeah, fair enough, yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's generally, at the end of the day, it's only a pint of Guinness, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And for you, it's all like, for you now say you've quit your job and you've now, like, you're now doing what you're doing full time now, because like I know the day whenever I was heading up here, my dad was like, oh, who you got on today? And I was like, oh, we got girl from Q Radio and we've got the Guinness Guru. And he's like, Guinness Guru is he's a guy that goes around and drinks pints and stuff and pubs and rates the Guinness. And he's like, what's he do on the side? I think he does that, full time.
How the fuck does he make money from that?
Like, he drinks Guinness full time, and I'm like, well, he doesn't drink it every day, but like, yeah, he goes out and he makes I think it's like an older person thing where they don't understand.
Well, you can imagine my poor mother trying to explain what's Daragh doing. Just social media stuff. They go, great, yeah. Once he's happy, yeah. Because trying to explain it to you lads before, like it's hard to explain, but like the basis. But once I explain it to you lads, you get it because you kind of get YouTube. But trying to explain it to like a 60-year-old bloke, and he's just like I'd be in the pub and I'd like, because I'd be involved a little bit with the local. I don't play anymore, but the local rugby club, Ashburn Rugby Club, and fucking out lads. You'd be sitting there having pints with 70-year-olds and 18-year-olds, and it's great. Like, and the out lads would be like, so what the he tells me you're making fucking a living drinking pints. What the fuck is that about? How the fuck are you making money doing that? How do I get into that? You're just like, right, how long do you have? But yeah, the basis of it is I only really make money from YouTube. I could go on, I could do Instagram stuff and be like, I just feel like that's so adverty, if you get me. It's like, so YouTube, I'll go like I said, you make a little bit from the ads. So my videos luckily are getting pretty good views now, and you make X amount per month on that, but it could be fucking 100 quid 1 month, it's never been, but it's say could be $2,000. Like you've no idea, and it's not even just about the views. It's like, how suitable is this video to adverts and all this bollocks. So you can't rely on that. The main thing is, say I put out 4 videos a month, I try to get each one of those videos sponsored. So to start the video, I just go, I might just film it at home and say, right, that's this video sponsored by, let's say, Manscaped. No free plugs, but there's a free plug. That's like a razor thing, and you just say 60 seconds, and like they don't give bollocks what you say once you just sell enough of them. And then you have a discount code, and then once you just keep every month or every 3 months, once you're selling enough, they just keep topping it up, and you just keep renegotiating contracts. And some sponsors are just a one-off, like, and then you'll never hear from them again. So, so say 4 videos a month, you try to get X amount off each of them, and now it's probably like, I think people just assume like you're doing it full time, you're obviously making a fortune from it. It's like, no, well, I'm making about the same as I was making painting. Yeah, and I wasn't even 2 months ago when I left painting, I was only probably making half of that. And just because I've had that extra time, I've just like been able to hammer it out. And all I've been doing, I haven't been filming more. I've just been that's fucking my shoes squeaking. I haven't been filming more. I've just been, whatever I've put on YouTube, I literally just break it down into clips and put it like all over Instagram, all over TikTok, Twitter, everything, and you just get way more traction from that. Like, so but yeah, the money is basically from YouTube alone.
How do you get your ads? Like, do you reach out to people and say, I've got a platform?
I've reached out before, but it doesn't really,
they come to you.
None of the people I've ever reached out with have ever really worked, like, whereas the odd person, like Manscaped approached me, there's a couple other people. Now, I don't have loads of sponsors, but you only really need, say, like 4 solid sponsors that'll keep you going, that'll give you, say, a 3-month contract or whatever. And the great thing is when they reach out to you, you can just set your price, and they won't say fuck off. They might say, oh, we can only give you half of that, and you can just say, yeah, grand, because I was overshooting it by a mile anyway. Do you know what I mean?
10 grand.
Yeah, but
someone from Manscaped's watching this going, that twat.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, just I was gonna say again, like with the Instagram stuff, I've had opportunities, and people have said, like, people have asked me to do an Instagram ad, and I've done 1 or 2 in the past, and every time I post, I just go, this is just not me. You're just making a video and like, this is a product. Now, I did a thing with a company called Pint, like only over the weekend, but that was literally like, you predict scores in rugby games, and then you can win a free pint of Guinness. Like, that is just my audience. Whereas I did a thing like with a whiskey company before, and you're just a bit like, whiskey. So if it's something to do with winning a free pint of Guinness, I've no problem putting that on my Instagram, because it's like, you're my followers, you can go and play the yoke, bit of crack, league with your mates and all. So, but when it's, even if it was like the Manscaped thing and you're just putting up an ad, because just whenever I see, like you see, say, online comedians and stuff, and then they try, some of them are good at it, but some of them try, it's an ad, like, and they say it's an ad, but they try and make it like a sketch. And I just, 9 times out of 10, it's just not funny, because it's just like,
trying too
and
hard.
nothing against, just trying too hard. It's like, it'd be nearly easy if you just said, "Heavy lads, this is the product, just go buy it." Do you know what I mean? Whereas it's just like, they're trying to make it funny. So something about that just doesn't sit with me. And again, about the long game, like, you can't just be thinking, make all the money now. Because if I just stick to what I know, what I've always done, and trying to be fairly genuine, and just keep the Instagram just purely fucking pints and crack, and then the ads kind of go in naturally with YouTube, because you're like, this video is sponsored by this, blah 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 blah, let's go. Whereas if on your Instagram, it's just be like, here's an ad. It's not sponsored. Do you know what I mean? So
definitely,
try to keep it to YouTube.
And sort of, we'll wrap it up here soon. The long game you're talking about, what is the long game? Like, where do you, like, looking at yourself now, like, for say me looking at what you're doing, like, we would probably be sitting here going, oh, we would love to get to like your point one day where it's like the followers and all that there, but for you, where's that, like, where do you see this? Because now that you've, not, this may sound scary that I'm saying this, but now you've quit your job.
No, that's just smiling. It's pretty cool it's just to hear you say you want to get to where I am. It's like, what the fuck? But yeah, the long game, I've always said it, any podcast I've ever gone on, I've always been open about it. I think there is a huge gap in the Irish and UK market for something like a Barstool Sports, where it's the only real media outlet left that just doesn't give a fuck. Now, don't get me, you're not going to be on here saying fucking racist and misogynist and all this sort of stuff, but like nothing against, you've got, say, Joe.ie, which would be the biggest one in Ireland, fantastic company, don't get me wrong, nothing against them, but I do think there is room for a Joe.ie that's just more relatable,
unfiltered,
unfiltered Joe.ie, and not as kind of formal, and like more so developing, just picking lads off the street that you think are funny and develop them into characters, instead of just paying X, Y and Z, Johnny Sexton or whoever, just to come on and talk. Do you know what I mean? And just having one host. And again, nothing against it, but I just think there's a market, and especially the world now where it's, and I'd be fairly, we're not getting into politics, but I would actually be fairly liberal if you were talking about politics and all that. But I just think, like, people are so afraid of saying anything that they just won't have any sort of crack. And all the content you're looking at now is just literally fucking filtered, and that's a great thing. That's why YouTube, I think, is literally the best thing on the planet, because unless you're saying some fucked up shit, which I'm not going to be talking absolutely heinous crimes here, but just lads sitting around like this podcast, like, we're saying whatever the fuck we want, and you don't have to go and report to someone who's going to go, Jace Ross, you couldn't be saying that now. Take that bit out, take that bit out. Do you know what I mean? You're just controlling the whole thing. And look, don't get me wrong, the odd time you will probably get in a bit of bother for maybe saying something, but a lot of the time, if you just stand up to it and say, I don't give a fuck, people will fuck off. People are just looking for an excuse to jump on something. Like, you could make a joke about, I don't know, you could say something about women's football or something, which I don't think I would, but if I did, you'd be saying it kind of lightheartedly or something, and 90% of women would probably laugh at it, and you'd probably just have just people just jumping on it. So extremists, people who just can't watch anyone having the crack. So I do think it'd be tough to fight through all the bullshit, but I do think there's a massive space in the market for that. And if you listen to this podcast in 10 years and you Google Daragh Curran, hopefully I was right.
Hopefully that's you.
I think before we end, like, obviously a lot of our listeners will be like from Northern Ireland, so like, where would you say is the best pint you've had?
Yeah, well, I owe Northern Ireland a fucking lot, because pandemic happened, and up here it opened like 8 weeks. Everything opened up about 8 weeks before the south. So I said, right, I'm going to fucking Belfast, Armagh. Shout out Belfast, what is it? Belfast, Derry, Armagh,
Ballymena.
And then Enniskillen.
Yeah.
I did those 4 in 4 weeks, and like I said, my following.
Ballymena, no.
Ballymena, is that in Armagh?
No.
All right, never mind.
You can't just say random places.
You don't want
them two. Them two.
Shout out to the fucking north, basically, because it just reignited my whole following. And I had some serious points in. I'm not just going to say Armagh because you're here. I had to say Derry was very surprising because no one. People obviously say go to Belfast because everyone knows Belfast. No one was like go to Derry. Do you know what I mean?
I'll be honest, I haven't I wouldn't say like drinking in Belfast. I wouldn't say I've had a great pint.
No. To be honest, no one even say go to Belfast. But people, my videos are generally like you kind of trying to cover all the big cities. So I know people are going to Belfast. On trips. So where's a good pint in Belfast? No offense, but people aren't really getting in their car and saying let's go to Armagh for the weekend. It's just a fact. Like you can take that how you want it. It's like I from fucking Ashburn. No one's going to Ashburn for the weekend. People are going to the big cities. But Derry was just a place where I think I had like Jesus, I think I had like 7 pints in Derry. I don't know. People kept texting me during it, and I don't think one of the pints was. I'd be a fairly harsh score. I don't think one of the pints was under an 8. But Armagh was decent. Enniskillen was a bit kind of hectic all over the place. But if I was to recommend anyone just to go for pints, like Derry didn't not one bad pint in Derry.
Yeah, we were in Derry not too long ago, and it was sweet. Good, I had really good crack.
The thing about Derry is like it is a city, but it's a small city, so it's nearly got that small town, big town.
I think it was because it was a change for us, like because if we were all coming, like them two are from Armagh and I'm from Ballymena, so like
what county is that in?
Antrim.
Antrim.
I mean, like I'm joking, like it's not,
Don't go.
Well, sure, even Belfast, like fucking. It's so embarrassing, but a lot of people, if you said what county is Belfast in, they'd go, I don't fucking know.
I think it was in County Belfast.
Yeah, honestly, or they'd just go, I don't know. No one knows it's in Antrim. But anyway, that's besides the point.
But yeah, like we would, if we were going, like he lives up here, Thomas lives up here, so we would be coming up to Belfast if we were heading out, like the three of us, whereas the other, like 2 months ago, we all were like, we'll go to Derry for the weekend, something different. I had the best crack ever. And you even see now, like there's a guy who we had on this podcast, and he does a lot of like food reviews and stuff, but so many people, like he goes to Derry as well, and so many people were saying like go out for Halloween night in Derry. Like I think it's quite underrated.
I thought Derry was brilliant. The only I just wouldn't go because it's such a trek. It's literally like 3.5 hours for me, like just up the N2. But I was very surprised. Like I just thought it was small, but felt big, like felt really lively, and I would definitely go if Derry was closer, or if I was from these parts, I'd be going there in a heartbeat for a night out.
So do you, I take it whenever you come up, you like, would you like stay like 2 nights and just have a 3-day sort of going out
bender?
No,
3-day bender.
Not at all. Not at all. That's what everyone thinks, because you see a guy in a pub drinking pints, you think he's fucking, once he turns that camera off, he's gone off, and once the camera goes off, the pints stop. And I know that's not what you want to hear. You want to hear that I'm going on a fucking 2-day bender and fucking riding birds and all this stuff, but not how it goes. Some of the with Derry and with Armagh, I stayed over in an Airbnb. Belfast, I got the bus. Derry and Enniskillen, my mother drove me up, and I just went around selfie mode with the camera. Sometimes I'd bring my missus, and she'd film and might stay over or something. But 2 or 3 times, and then Kilkenny was there 3 times. Like literally, lads would be like, "You up for a night with a few lads?" And I'd be like, "Quite the opposite. My mum just dropped me up, and she's fucking waiting for me now to go home." And I'd literally, we'd get an out chipper and I'd sit in the car, and then we'd fuck off home. Like, so my mum, she's retired, like, so she's literally, I say, any chance, or she'd even be like, "You going anywhere soon?" Kind of nudging that, like she'd be up for it. And she'd come and she'd just stroll around the town, like, and then I come back a bit half tipsy, be like, I don't know. She'd know the crack. She'd like, "How many pints did you have?" I'd be like, "Oh, I'm just doing 2 pubs. I've been about fucking 6." Like, but no, it's not a glamorous. You got to cut the costs. Do you know what I mean? And even like 2 months ago, there was very little money coming in. A lot of the videos weren't even sponsored, and you were just going off the YouTube views, which wasn't much. But Like I've got this cameraman fella. I've done a couple of videos around Dublin with him. Grand around Dublin, you give him a few bob for 4 or 5 hours. But if I'm going to bring him to fucking Belfast and pay for him to stay over and pay for a wage, I can't. The money coming in is nothing near that. Like, so that's years down the line. But like my missus, like I said, she's into Instagram and all that shit. So she's happy to hold the camera, and then like we just go out after like for a meal or whatever. But I'm not. It's the most ironic thing to say ever, but I'm not a massive drinker. I love pints of Guinness. I love my ideal. I literally went like 2 days ago, or whatever, or even yesterday, I went to my local GA club and watched United match. Sorry, I'm doing that. Watched the United match with one of my mates. That had 5 pints. Went home at 9 o'clock, and it was brilliant. Absolutely happy out. I lost the desire like 2 or 3 years ago to be amongst people, and like again, when you have a missus, like when you're younger, you're just trying to go out and get women and all, and that's just left me. If my 22-year-old self could see my 28-year-old self now, he'd be fucking hanging his head in shame, because that was a party animal. Do you know what I mean? He was out all night. You couldn't stop that fella. And now, like, and fucking looking for girls and all this crack, and not even girls, just don't let the crack stop. Like, I will go anywhere, hop in any car, fucking any taxi, anyone's gaff once we get to keep going, and then just wake up at 9 o'clock the next day like, oh fuck. Now I just like, I can't remember the last time I had a hangover. Like, I just heap of pints and fuck off home. That's me.
Perfect night.
Yeah, perfect night. Like a 60-year-old.
So I was gonna say we must come up and to like Ashburn or something.
Not Ashburn, no,
not
Ashburn.
Dublin. For next in Dublin, we'll give you a shout for a nice civilised night.
Dublin it's expensive, like, but you can't have a bad night in Dublin. Like, it's just fucking. Obviously, it's the pinnacle, really, I would say. So.
No, we'll maybe end that there.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for coming on, taking the time to come down. Really appreciate it.
We're still on.
Yeah.
We're still on.
Where can people find you?
Yeah, just there's no mad plugs. Literally, just the Guinness Guru. It's very simple. YouTube, not really YouTube, and Instagram, TikTok. I don't really care about Twitter or anything like that. So, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, the Guinness Guru. And if you want a load of valuable information about Guinness, don't follow me. If you want to just look at a lad who you might be able to relate to, just going around the pubs and having a crack with people and just drinking pints, then follow away, because that's all it is. And it's, I think, simple works, and it's very simple, but it seems to be working. So that's it, the Guinness Guru.
Happy day. We'll catch up with you hopefully sometime soon in the future, and
100%.
hopefully by then you've got your Barstool Sports.
10 years in the future then.
You'll be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Right, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much.